I guess because my mama was around them, because my mama was writing my raps when I first started.
For real?
Yeah, my mama was spitting. She was doing her thing.
Before Dizzy Wright appeared on Double G News and was interviewed by Snoop Dogg while the two lit it up.
He looked like a fucking real superhero, don't he? Look how he picked the nigga up like, hold on, where you taking me to?
Before Dizzy would decide to turn down Def Jam to sign with Hopsin's indie label, Funnk Volume, a deal he would walk away from in 2016. Before Dizzy Wright would be featured on Double XL's freshman class list for 2013. Before Dizzy Wright released his debut effort back in 2010 on April 20th, better known as 420.
I know that the stoner culture supports you like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Before Dizzy Wright appeared on 106 in Park's Wild Out Wednesdays as Dizzy D Flashy. Dizzy Wright was born Laurent Wright in Flint, Michigan, but raised in Las Vegas by a single mother, who was heavily associated with the music business. Now Dizzy, he saw life of a major label artist firsthand while being associated with Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. His father, he was arrested a few months before his birth, and his mom, well, she fell on hard times and they moved into a homeless shelter when he was only 12. Now moving around from place to place resulted in young Laurent not being able to graduate from high school, which ended his dreams of making it as a basketball player. He wanted to write out a scholarship, but you can't do that without them good grades. He was kicked out of his mom's house then at 17, and he came to the realization, I'm gonna have to make it on my own. And the only way he knew how to do this was by making music. All of a sudden he soon found out he also had a baby on the way. So a lot of this was on his shoulders, a whole lot of stress. He needed to make something happen, but he was smoking cigarettes. And his buddy Mosky Mo was like, those things are gonna kill ya. Instead, he began smoking weed. And it was then his creative juices, they began flowing, and the music industry, well, they started taking notice of his hard work. What's going on, guys? My name is Michael McCrudden, and welcome to Before They're Famous, documenting the life and career of Dizzy Wright prior to fame, here for you on Before They're Famous. Now, you guys have requested this video for a long time. I'm happy I'm finally getting it done. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below who you want to hear about next. And for the guy who keeps asking for Lucas Graham, fine, I'm gonna do it. Plus, I heard his song is blowing up.
I've been rapping all of my life, and I ain't asking y'all for no stripes. I will go toe to toe with any hoe nigga, I ain't asking y'all for no right.
Dizzy Wright was born Laurent Wright in Flint, Michigan on November 26, 1990. Within his tight-knit family, there was already presence of hip-hop greatness. His mother was close with Stephen and Stanley House, who were part of the group you may have heard of, Bone Thugs-n-Harmony.
It's been smoking and smoking, smoke another blunt, roll another up. You know that we can really ease your mind. Every time I smoke a reaper, that Indo high makes me.
Yeah, that's right. Laurent grew up with some of his favorite rappers, including Busy Bone, Wishbone, Lazy Bone, Flesh and Bone, and his personal favorite, Crazy Bone. Now, his father was out of the picture, arrested a few months before his birth with a long sentence to serve. We're talking 20 years. At the age of 4, he moved with his mom and his brother to Las Vegas, Nevada, and he began rapping at the age of just 8. It was his mother who wrote his raps at the time, and well, she was making ends meet as a gig promoter working for Bone Thugs-n-Harmony when she could. But the group, well, when they were on tour, she was having a hard time finding work. Then she put her focus on getting her 2 young boys into the music business.
As we got older, I started wanting to write for myself because she wasn't painting my picture.
Now, because his mom had these fantastic connections, young Dizzy Wright, he was able to attend the BET Awards at a young age and even interviewed the likes of Tyrese, St. Lunatics, and Boyz II Men for a BET Youth segment. Although that sounds like a dream come true to most people, young Laurent, well, he wanted to enjoy being just a kid. He didn't want to worry about being famous or forced to do interviews or to have his mother speak for him all the time. As she forced him to get involved in the music scene, she also pushed him further away from her. And he credits this as the reason he wanted to stay far away from major record labels when he eventually made it.
As long as I had been in the industry, I thought a studio was a studio. Like, it had to be a big studio. I didn't know you could create music off of a house studio.
His mother had always tried her best to let the boys not know how bad they were actually struggling, but then one year things got so bad they had to move into a homeless shelter. They did have a Santa Claus visit them one night on December 25th, and he brought gifts for all the children, but he forgot just one, and that was young Dizzy Wright's present. Throughout all this hardship, young Dizzy Wright, he kept on rapping. He had also started writing poetry. He decided he would no longer allow his mother to be his ghostwriter, and in grade 9 he had a group called The Future, which included his brother KJ and a childhood friend known as DeJohn. Now, his friendship with DeJohn, it was next level stuff. He was always hanging out with the Wright family, and they actually went ahead and got him baptized. Yeah, we're talking BFFs on the next level. It's important to note that Dizzy Wright is still a man to date that is connected to his faith, and he prays before every meal. Now one day his mother broke to him the news that they were going to move out of the homeless shelter, which sounded great, but they were going to relocate to that of Georgia. No one would think that Laurent would take this quite well, but he didn't want to break up the group he had formed to Future, and his only friend was living in Las Vegas, so he asked if DeJohn could come with him. And guess what happened? Well, all of a sudden Mom was like, well, he's here all the time, why not? And that friendship, well, it was next level. Their bromance wouldn't stand the test of time, and soon after they arrived in Georgia, where they were living in a 4-bedroom home, Hurricane Katrina came knocking and they were getting caught up in a number of tornadoes. As quickly as they had set up a new home, they were packing their things to return to Las Vegas. Now they didn't stay in Las Vegas this time for long. His mother would relocate to California, and there, well, they would bounce around from home to home. In the 10th grade, young Dizzy Wright, he attended 5 different schools. Then the year following, well, he attended 6 different schools. In his head, he had always planned on riding a basketball scholarship to college, but all the moving around, well, it made a mess of his high school credits, and he wasn't able to graduate. With a scholarship out of the question, Laurent's mom decided to show him some tough love when he was 17. She kicked him out, telling him he would need to make it on his own. He returned to Las Vegas, where he managed to find for himself an apartment and started to do what any young man on his own for the first time would do: throw some epic parties.
Check this out, baby girl. Why don't you check out our diggy?
Getting involved in the Las Vegas scene, he hooked up with DJ Fame, who was throwing parties at an underage club known as Frozen. Wright decided this would be as good a time as any to throw some of his own music into the mix. He took the local clubs to build a network and a fan base by being both skilled and flashy, which worked with his then artist name, Dizzy D Flashy.
I was a part of a crew called Flashy Inc., which I'm still a part of, but we're just real into fashion, and we started Flashy Inc., and we kind of all had a flashy name.
It was in 2010 that he took part in the Chic Music Rip the Mic competition, a move that caught the eye of both Def Jam with a demo deal and record label Funnk Volume, the latter of which Dizzy decided to work with. Around this time, he had also found out that he was going to be a father, and he decided to change his name.
I then got a daughter, and life kicked in, reality. And I just I want to just go by my regular last name, you know what I'm saying?
That year, a show in Detroit would give him the opportunity to finally meet and speak with a man that had been absent in his life up until then, his father. Now, to buffer the circumstances, Dizzy and his pops, well, they eased the tension with some help.
Yeah, my pops did 20, and then I got with Funnk Volume, and we had a show in Detroit. And I was able to meet him, and he was able to come to the show.
Now, after a bunch of catching up, talking, and smoking, the two were on good terms. His father even traveled to several dates with Funnk Volume. Then Dizzy, well, he was left with the title for his new album based on this experience.
I got some things on my mind, I've been holding it in. Crossroads with the devil trying to hold on my hand.
He released his debut album, Smoke Out Conversations, on every stoner's favorite day of the year, 420. The independent album produced 2 multi-million view videos on YouTube, with his tracks Solo Dolo and Can't Trust Them.
Man, I'm growing up and I'm changing, don't try to knock me out of my plans. He was bullshit and my grind mode was giving it all I can.
His balance of substance and swagger has gained for him a loyal following, and the youngest member of Funnk Volume has been one of the most active, releasing 5 albums in 5 years, debunking the old myth that smoking weed, well, it makes you lazy. As for the rest of the story, well, you know the story because this is before they're famous. My name's Mike McCredden, thanks for checking out my personal channel. I do all sorts of celebrity bios on here. I've done a bunch of rappers in the past. Hopsin, that one's been done. But anyone you're probably thinking of, I'm certain I've probably done it. If so, it might need an update. So let me know in the comments down below who you want to hear about next. I'll see you guys in another video.
Oh, they show you the whole get down.
Yeah, he only want the fine part.
Oh, this is a real video.
Yeah, he want the tendons.
Okay, this is not a vine.